Hey you, what's up bro? Are you mad at NBC? Are you still mad at NBC? Welcome. And today, we're gonna be talking about the one, the only, potentially the most dorkiest member of the Geek Squad, none other than Neal motherfucking Schweiber, baby. So today we're going to be going through the anatomy of Neal Schweiber. What really makes Neal Schweiber Neal Schweiber? What makes him different from all the other geeks? First of all, who the hell is Neal Schweiber? Well, I'm glad you asked. Neal Schweiber is a freshman at William McKinley High, located in Chippewa, Michigan. It's a fake city. He attends the high school in the year 1980 through 1981. Neal is a sophisticated man. He's a man of many interests that include science fiction, although the Star Wars, Star Trek, comedy, ventriloquism, and of course, being a cool mother flipper. We have a graph that dissects the anatomy of a Neal Schweiber. As you can see, he is a smartass. That is why it is connected to his head. He's quippy, he's dry, and he's sarcastic. He's got a tongue like a freaking sword, and he ain't afraid to use it. He's also a comedian. Not only is my boy funny, he also does a little bit of stand-up with his ventriloquist dummy. Even, take this with a grain of salt, y'all. He is a child, but he's got his moments where he can be a little pretentious, a little naive. But he's a freshman in high school who probably wants to impress his peers and his friends, so that's to be expected. Then we got the fact that he is really drippy, y'all. Neal knows he looks good, and you can't tell him otherwise. Just look at the sweater vests. Need I say more? He's confident. Man knows that he is the shit. He just knows. And of course, he's a fucking dork. A Dorkatron 9000. Let's explore further, shall we? Why Neal a comedian? I'm glad you asked. In the episode, We've Got Spirit, Neal becomes the school's mascot, well, after Sam resigns from his position, and he fucking kills it, y'all. He makes everybody laugh. Even Bill, the most honest character on the show, tells him what's up.
That was incredible. You're the funniest mascot I've ever seen.
Thanks, Phil.
No, you're a comic genius.
Did you see when she hit me? Wasn't that funny?
You guys should be like a comedy team.
His ventriloquism acts, peak comedy, fire.
Gentlemen, Neal and Morty. Hey.
Hi, everybody. Morty, say hello to the nice people. Hello, nice people.
Hi, Morty.
Hi, Morty.
Say, how come these people are so funny looking? Well, what do you mean? Their teeth. They're terrible. Morty, I mean, come on. No. Haven't they ever heard of a toothbrush? Morty, what do you mean by that? Look at them. Look at these people. Look at that lady over there. Her teeth are so bad, she should be a professional hockey player. All right, can we just get to the act now, please? Oh, sure thing. All right. What's the difference between a proctologist and a dentist? I don't know what. One's a doctor of the ass, and the other's an ass who's a doctor. Hey, Morty, come on, be nice. All right. Well, okay, here's another.
Okay.
The way that he roasted his father, he became a roasted fucking carrot, y'all. He sometimes is a little shit with his teachers.
Neal, I don't see your report here.
I did it
Where is it?
in my mind. Well, I didn't want to write it down because I didn't want to kill a tree. I mean, did you know that our rainforests are disappearing?
Neal?
Hector.
And he's just a little shit. He's just a little shit. Now, why/how is Neal confident? Neal knows he's funny. You can't tell him he's not. Period. He knows he is. He's told his friends many times, yo, I'm funny. Y'all don't understand, but I'm funny. He knows he's stylish. He probably invented the sweater vest, y'all. He wears them every episode. Sometimes he does monochromatic looks. He knows his formula. Sweater vest, plaid shirt, some kind of khaki with a nice little crisp belt, and bam! Neal is ready to take on the world.
I dress okay.
Sam, you look like your mother dresses you.
Hey, well, at least I don't dress like a ventriloquist dummy.
Don't kill the messenger. I know I look good. I dress well and I groom myself properly.
He's good at physics. He did a freaking torque equation to calculate where the bottle would stop on a game of spin the bottle. It's a little weird, but I mean, hey, you know, when a man is really, really driven to do something, he'll do a fucking physics science equation for it. Work. Alright, y'all. Here's the hard part. How is Neal pretentious / naive? He's a kid. Some kids, they try hard. Most kids do try hard. That's just part of being a kid. It'd be like that. His main problem is that he doesn't realize he's a geek. He don't think he's a geek. Nope, couldn't be him. He swears up and down, side to side, east, west, left, right, north, south, that he is not a geek.
Sorry to break it to you, but you're the geek.
What?
You heard me. You're the geek.
I may be some things, but I'm not a geek.
Even though he does William Shatner impressions, and he also has a ventriloquist dummy. He seems to think he knows better than his friend. He seems to think that he's got something on them. He's got one up his sleeve. He's giving them some kind of advice, telling them what's up, even though he really doesn't know what the hell he's talking about most of the time. He thinks he knows what's best for Lindsay. Lindsay is not only older than Neal, but she's probably the most mature character in the show. At least the most mature kid in the show. He seems to think that he knows who Lindsay should be hanging out with. He thinks that Lindsay should stay away from this, then, the third, because that's his Lindsay, bro.
Where I am.
Detention? Not my Lindsay.
Neal? What did I tell you about that?
Now that we've gotten through the main aspect of Mr. Schweiber's personality, we will now take a deeper look into his relationships with the other people in the show, y'all. Alright, let's get into it, baby girl. Let's get into it. Neal has not one, not 3, but 2 best friends, y'all. And that being the one and only Sam Weir and Bill Haverchuck. Now let's get this straight. Everyone can agree that each of the geeks have a separate friendship with each other. Yeah, Sam is the leader, the unofficial leader of the group. He is the glue of the group, but each of the geeks have a unique relationship with one another. I feel like if it was up to Neal, if you asked Neal who the leader of the group was, he'd probably say it was him. What I find very interesting is that with Sam, I think that Neal kind of perceives Sam as a rival. I think in Neal's mind, he thinks he's better. I mean, he kind of thinks he's better than both of his friends, low-key. He hasn't outright said it. He's kind of hinted at it multiple times. They have fought. I mean, technically, Sam started jumping Neal first, and I guess you could say he whooped his ass.
Well, I mean, you know, it's all the same. Hey, come on, cut it out! Stop it! Hey! Give it a rest! Come on! Stop it! Oh, stop! You're gonna tear my sweater! You don't, you little hissy fit? Stop it! Hey! Stop! Get off me! Stop it! Guys, you got my chemistry set! Oh!
What is that?
I don't know! Cover your flesh! Cover your flesh!
It was really painful to watch because they had a little bit of an argument over who is the geekiest, and I don't know why Bill chose Sam when it's clearly Neal. He's the geekiest of all 3 of them. The geekiest. I don't care when anyone says, fight me in the comment section below, bitch. But Bill is more chill. He's more chill, definitely more himself than the other 2. I feel like Sam is in a weird kind of split reality where he wants to be himself, but he still feels pressured to so appeal to other people. And same with Neal. Neal is in that same I would say it's even worse with Neal. Neal definitely wants people to like him. Neal feels that he already is very likable, but he just doesn't understand why nobody else is with it. They don't know. He doesn't know why. Everyone knows that the Geeks are girl crazy, but the most girl crazy member of the squad is Neal. And these are his... What? These are his crushes! Yes, y'all! Alright, first we got Mrs. Moren Samson of Florida! Right, she is a transfer student all the way from the South. And she's come here because her dad has some job in some motor engine company. This is probably during the era where Detroit had a very strong economy because of their car engineering systems. I don't know, girl. I just work here. I don't even know what the hell that's about. Neal seems to have the most interest in Moren. I feel like he talks to her the most, or he's the most vocal with her, but he's the one who is like simping for Moren the hardest.
Oh my God, she's running to get to us.
I'm really glad I sat here. You guys are nice.
You're really nice.
Would you mind showing me the ropes around here?
Sure. We could show you the ropes.
And unfortunately, I don't really see them getting together. I don't really see it happening because the universe of Freaks and Geeks likes to kind of take a dump on Neal. They never really give him any wins. So, yeah. Next, who we got here? We got Miss Vicky Applebee, y'all. Alright, first of all, Vicky Applebee, we're not entirely sure, but I think it's safe to bet that Vicky probably does not like Neal. I could see her finding him really irritating. I know for a fact that he pissed her off in the episode where he was the mascot, you know, because not only was he disrupting the entire cheers session, he also deceived her.
Hey, watch it! Oh, what's in here? Tasty! Oh, I'm stabbed myself!
Oh my God, he's gonna die.
Help me, I'm dying!
You were in so much trouble, Sam Ware.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Vicky is kind of a big-ass control freak. She needs to know what's going on at all times. I feel like Neal is kind of like her foil in a way. He is a little chaotic. He has like a goody-goody two-shoes nature to him to an extent, but he's a little rebellious. He's got a bit of a rebellious streak. It's safe to say that Vicky probably does not like him. But for some reason, Neal's like, yo, Vicky, she's a 5-course meal. I'm gonna bag me. Let me get a Vicky to go. That's Neal. That's what he thinks. You know, Neal's got he doesn't have peripheral vision, so, yeah. Lindsay Weir. He's been having a crush on Lindsay since he was 5 years old, y'all. Obviously, doesn't have a chance with her in hell. It's never gonna happen. We all know that. It's just a cute little crush, you could say. He definitely has deeper feelings for her. We don't totally explore that in the show, but we know that Lindsay is aware of it, and it probably doesn't bother her that much. She probably doesn't really care too much. She probably just sees it as some kid having a crush on her. And it is kind of awkward when we catch Neal's older brother kissing Lindsay. It was more of like another kind of twist of the knife to just kind of let him know that, yeah, you don't got a chance. At all. Those 3 lovely ladies are Neal's crushes. They are here in the spotlight, and they just need their own little moment in the sun. Next, we're gonna be talking about Neal's household. Alright, he's kind of got more or less the same kind of familial structure as the Weirs, but There's a lot of subtle differences. For example, it's hinted that Neal's family is upper middle class since his father is a doctor, and I believe his mother is a professional tennis player. Neal's father, the one and only Dr. Schweiber. So Dr. Schweiber sucks. I think anyone who's seen the show knows that. The episode where he forces Sam into an appointment and then puts that weird creepy mouth guard was so creepy. Dr. Schweiber is a dentist and runs a dental practice. He is also a womanizer. He is seen cheating on his wife with another woman, and it is hinted that he has multiple affairs with different people. Neal has a very special relationship with each of his family members, specifically his father, which kind of is the reason why Neal starts acting different throughout the series. He's been cheating on his wife, Mrs. Schweiber, for a moment. He is also Neal's role model. Neal looks up to him quite a big deal.
Your dad's the coolest.
I heard that.
Yeah.
He loves his father very much and he thinks he's the coolest thing since sliced bread. But then his image of his father is shattered once he realizes that his dad is indeed cheating on his mom. Mrs. Schweiber. We don't really know much about her, and I've always thought that she kind of looks like Deanna Troi from Star Trek The Next Generation. You gotta look at it. I promise I'm not crazy for that. She does. I think it's the hair. But Mrs. Schweiber likes to say ciao instead of bye, and she is probably a professional tennis player, I think. She likes to wear swishy skirts, and she's a pretty elegant, posh lady. Not much to say about her, besides the fact that she knows Dr. Schweiber is cheating on her. And the two of them, as it's been hinted, know that they need to stay together, or at least they think they need to stay together in order to protect the family, specifically to protect Neal. We have Barry Schweiber. Alright, Barry is Neal's older brother. He is 2 years into college and he hasn't quite figured out what he wants to major in. He is like a upgraded version of Neal, I want to say. We don't get to know Barry too much, but we do know that Lindsay has a crush on him and that they kiss, and then Neal sees it and Neal's like, oh damn. Barry also explains to Neal that there is no reason for Neal to tell his mother that his father is cheating on him, because it would break up the family and then they'd have to get a divorce and they might have to see their dad on the weekend. It is hinted that Barry also loves his father very much. He loves his family very much. Neal loves his family. He loves his mom. He cares about his mom a great deal, as he even tells her that he doesn't want to ruin her life with the information that he finds out about his father. Neal is the baby of the family with a little bit of a bratty streak to him. I've always thought that because his dad is a cheater, this isn't the first time that his dad has probably bribed him. This might be the only time that Neal realizes that his dad is bribing him, aka with the Atari. So that's probably why Neal thinks that his dad is kind of a baddie and, he's the coolest, and that no one can ever say anything about his father, and that he has kind of like an inflated sense of self for himself and for his family.
Do you remember when we said we'd tell each other everything?
Yeah?
Did you mean it?
Of course.
Even if it sounds really, really horrible? I mean, it might not be horrible because it might not be true, but if it is true, it could be pretty horrible.
Okay, Bill, you're killing me. You gotta tell me now.
Okay, but you might not want to know because it's pretty horrible.
What? Bill, you didn't tell him, did you?
Wait a second. Sam knows? That's not fair. Okay, if you guys both know, I gotta know.
Sam saw your dad hugging a lady at the mall last night.
What?
Show him. All right.
No, that's impossible. My dad was at the office last night performing root canal surgery. So, that wasn't my dad.
It was your dad. I talked to him.
You're lying. No, you're just jealous because my dad is cooler than yours.
I'm not jealous.
Neal! We just thought you should know because we tell each other everything, remember?
Oh, shut up, Bill. You don't even have a dad.
I do too. I talked to him 3 months ago.
But he's also just a kid. Neal versus the freaks. They are on the peripheral side of Neal's vision. I understand that he doesn't interact with everyone because, well, there was only one season of the show. Thank you, NBC. So I'm going to be kind of going through what I think Neal's relationship with each of the guys would have been like. First of all, Mr. Andopoulos. Now, I've always had this really interesting theory that Nick is the Neal of the freak group. Minus the part that he, like, thinks he's cooler than everyone. The thing is that Nick and Neal are both artists. They both have a passion for performance art. I guess you could say that. Being artists and pursuing their artistic dreams. Neal with his ventriloquism and comedy, and Nick with his music. I feel like later along the lines, I think I could see them actually interacting. I don't think they'd be super close, or maybe he'd be like a new big brother to him. I don't know, the possibilities are endless, but I could see them interacting. I could also see Nick kind of like trashing Neal's taste in media and music. Overall, they would have a really interesting relationship. Ken and Neal. Well, I don't think they have too much in common. I think they also have like a core trait that they share. They're both sarcastic and dry as hell. I think that Ken would bully Neal. In fact, I remember in the first episode, Ken shoves Neal out of the way. I can totally see Ken kind of dogging on Neal. I don't really think he would ever truly respect him, and I would think that he would see Neal as pretentious and a try-hard, since Ken is very much about being more reserved and more concealed, whereas Neal kind of acts out. He's more of a, you know, he's a showy guy. He likes to make people laugh, and he likes to jeer at things. I think they both have that in common. Ken is Neal's match. We have Mr. Desario. Now, Daniel and Neal interest me so much because in the very last episode where they're playing D&D, there's a slight moment where we see Neal being a little unconfident. There's this air, at least I picked up, that Neal kind of feels threatened by Daniel.
We're playing D&D tonight. You want to come?
Why?
I think you'd like it. We could show you how to play.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it anyway. It's really boring.
No. No, it isn't, Neal. You love it.
Daniel is like the antithesis of Neal in a way. Daniel is effortlessly cool. I mean, by high school standards. He's stylish, and he also has girls. He interacts with girls. He has a girlfriend. Neal feels like he could never quite connect with him. In fact, he's even seen rejecting Daniel and kind of trying to keep Daniel at bay from the Geeks and coming into their spaces. So I feel like it's very one-sided, obviously, but I could see Daniel being nice to Neal because Daniel isn't a dick. At least not completely. Like, yeah, he has dickish moments, but he's not a complete dick. So it would definitely take Neal a couple of moments to just, like, chill out, but like I said, it would definitely be one-sided. I could see Daniel being like, dude, why are you tripping? I'm just playing D&D. Like, you have a problem with me? And Neal would be like, yes, I do, actually. And yeah, that's what I think their relationship would have been like. Kimmy Kim, Lil Kim in the house. I don't think that Kim would have much to say to Neal. I think that Kim would just think that he's funny and she would just laugh at him. She'd do her, you know, her little, like, you know that laugh she does where she's like, like, she'd probably just do that to him a lot. So I think he would just be, like, immortalized as a dork in her eyes. I don't really see them having much interaction past that. I think sometimes he would run into her because if Daniel were to continue going to their D&D campaigns, guess he would also see Kim sometimes. And maybe Kim would even play. Like, that would have been, what a missed opportunity. Geek versus the freak. AKA Neal versus the freaks. I don't know why I said that. That was kind of dumb. And of course, we've got to talk about the others. Gordon and Neal, I don't think that they're super close, but they definitely are friends. They definitely hang out with each other, and they don't hate each other. I could see Gordon finding Neal to be a little irritating because it is Neal. I think they get along. They're homies. They're not like the closest homies in the world. They're homies, but they're not like tight. You know, they're not like, what's up, man? Like, let's go grab lunch. They're not like that. But, you know, they'll hang out. They've been to a convention together, so.
Yeah, you can ask Gordon to go with you. I mean, he loves science fiction.
I don't like sci-fi. I love it. Should your mom drive or should mine? Hey, my mom should drive because she puts all my makeup on in the parking lot before I go in.
Great.
Yeah. Coach Fredericks. I low-key know that Neal thinks that Fredericks... Actually, high-key, everyone knows that Neal doesn't respect Coach Frederick.
You are a dimwit and an imbecile. I blow my nose in your general direction.
That's not in there.
It isn't. You are a turd. A stinky turd. Ghost of a jockstrap. You poophead. You're a perv and a loser. And a turd.
That shit got me going for decades. He's a grown-ass man. He probably doesn't care that much. He wants to get along with the kids, obviously, because it's part of his job. And Coach is not a bad man. They're not, tight as peas in a pod. You know what I mean? It's his teacher, and he is dating Bill's mom, and that's about it. Work. Alan White. So Alan is really mad at the Geeks because when he wanted to hang out with them, they were like, nah, fam, not you. You can't hang with us. You can't sit with us. By association, he also hates Neal, but technically, Bill, Colin, and Neal kicked his butt. Low-key, they jumped him. I could see Alan maturing later in the season, or in the show, if it had a second season. I could see him maturing, maybe not totally hating on Neal, but I could just see him kind of ignoring him. I don't really see them becoming best friends. I can definitely see Alan, growing the fuck up and leaving them alone. Cindy Sanders, bruh. She has gotten his name wrong twice in the show. One time she called him Nate, and the other time she called him Neek Schweiber. She don't give a shit about Neal. She doesn't care. I'm pretty sure she would cut the cheese in front of him and she would be like, oh, well, it's just Neal. Let's be real here, She don't care.
Who the hell are you?
Neal Schweiber at your service.
You're dead. Nate Schweiber, you're a jerk.
It's Neal Schweiber.
Harry Harris. Harris is obviously friends with Neal. I feel like I could see Neal kind of getting annoyed with Harris because Harris is very calm and collective. He's got wisdom. That kind of bothers Neal because Neal likes to think that he knows. He knows what's up. He knows how to talk to the girls and he knows how to do torque and long division. I could see them kind of hustling maybe, but it would definitely just be Neal doing all the tussling. Harris would just kind of kick back and relax. I can't do that because this sure won't let me. But you know what I mean. They're friends. And they do hang out because they did, they did a D&D campaign together, y'all. So as Gordon, but I feel like they're a little closer. That's all I gotta say about that. Let's do a short assessment of Neal's character. Specifically, an assessment on whether or not Neal is a good friend. Is Neal a good friend? Well, let's see. Neal is sometimes kind of mean to his friends. Sometimes he makes fun of them. They all kind of make fun of each other, but Neal just, especially with Sam, he always got to remind him that he hasn't hit puberty yet. You know what I mean? He's always just got to be like, yo, but your armpit hair hasn't even grown in, so what do you think about that?
Hey, at least I've got hair in my pits.
Definitely kind of mean to his friends sometimes. Exhibit B. Them unsolicited advice. He's always telling Sam that he needs to change his outfit. That's why Sam bought that freaking Parisian night suit in the freaking first place. Because Neal instilled some kind of insecurity in him that Sam just ain't it. He don't cut it. His drip is not good. So he's got to go out there and he's got to wear something from the last decade. Which I like the Parisian night suit. I thought it was adorable. But I digress. Exhibit C. But he does invite them to come hang out. He'll invite them to eat ice cream and watch TV. I think they were watching Saturday Night Live or something. I don't really know. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Half of the time that they make any kind of reference, like the Geeks specifically, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I actually have to look it up after I watch an episode. But he invites them to play games and eat ice cream and yada yada yada. So he does that. But I feel like also that's just the bare minimum. You should be inviting your homies to come eat ice cream at your house and watch TV. What are you doing if you don't? Hello? He does let Sam run for mascot, even though he really wanted to do it. He thought about it, but he's like, you know what? Go get her, man. Go get her, Tiger. He lets her run for the mascot, So he has his moments where he can be pretty cool. He is always willing to help Lindsay. Actually, I feel like if the Geeks if they were both on a cliff, right, hanging for dear life, Lindsay on one end, the Geeks on the other, I think that Sam would run towards Lindsay. He loves Lindsay so much, he would do anything for her. So he does help Lindsay out, and Lindsay does view him as just a friend. He does help her, so, you know, he like pretended to be an old man and called the police on her fake beer party thingy, so, you know. But every time a bully comes through, he always chickens out. And he'd be the first one to talk about, oh, Sam, you didn't do this. Oh, Bill, you let this girl do this to you? Bro, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
Sam, if it was me, I'd go to Karen Scarfoli's house and make her write it.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
I would. You can't let chicks humiliate you like that in public.
But as soon as a bully comes through, crickets. Crickets. He's got nothing to say. He's hiding behind the locker. You remember when Karen Scarfoli picked on them? Guess who was quiet, girl? Guess. So is Neal a good friend? I'm gonna let y'all decide on that. I've gotta include the music, y'all. Music is such an important part of the show. It is like the heart of the show. There's dad rock in every corner of the show. So let's talk about Neal's taste in music. It's not really explored, but I'm gonna just take a wild guess on what Neal would have listened to during this period of his life. Your boy is listening to Chicago. He's mentioned that Chicago has a hot horn section. So he's definitely listening to Chicago. I could see him jamming to that. I could literally see him like aggressively just to the spinning wheel song, you know? I could see him thinking that that is like the most hardcore, like serious, intense song of the century. If I'm correct, I think Chicago is considered nerdy music during that era. He is a man of soft rock. I know in his core, he loves the Carpenters. I know that he thinks that Karen Carpenter's voice is literally like liquid gold. I know he is obsessed with her voice. And I think him and Nick would also kind of bond together. Maybe, actually, I feel like Nick would low-key get kind of mad at Karen, because I heard that she beat John Bonham in a drumming competition. Like, she like won best drummer over him. She was voted one of the best drummers of all time or something like that. I know he loves him some Carpenters. I know he sings Close to You when no one is around. Then we got ABBA. I feel like he would listen to ABBA. I could see him jamming to it. I could see him getting made fun of, but him just being like, what? They're good. They're actually good. Like, I could see him literally saying that. I could see him defending himself. And ABBA is good, okay? And of course, because they were, I mean, all of these bands, except for the Carpenters, were mentioned in the show. I also just see him rocking out to some Billy Joel. You know, I see him listening to Billy Joel. I know he likes that. I know he probably closes his eyes and he scratches his own neck and shit, and he nods his head to some Billy Joel. This is what I think that Mr. Schweiber would be listening to. I don't really think that he would catch on too much to punk music. I don't see him listening to Susie Sue. I don't see him listening to like X-Ray Specs or anything like that. I also don't feel like he would really be into new wave. Like, I don't think so. I would have loved goth music be introduced in the show. That would have been so cool. But I feel like he would just kind of reject it, and I think he'd be like, no. Music was much better back then than it is today. Modern music is terrible. I could see him saying something like that with a little dad vest on. Since we never really got to see where everyone's gonna end up, I had to freaking imagine what I think his future would have been like, okay? So here we go with that. Let me just say right now, Neal's future, babe. Neal's future, I think it's looking pretty bright, alright? Like some Crest Colgate kind of shit. Okay? According to Reddit, Freaks and Geeks historians, and also the writers of the show, and the internet in general, Neal was most likely to join the school's choir. He would have became like a barbershop choir guy. He would have started singing, which I think makes sense since he is into the arts. He is an artistic man, you know? He likes to do comedy and he likes to be the center of attention. So I could totally see him joining the choir. However, maybe like this is kind of like an amalgamation of later in his life, like outside of high school and both in high school, but I'm just kind of gonna jumble them together and tell you what I think his future would have looked like. I think that Neal would have definitely got into comedy. I think he would have started doing stand-up at the Rusty Nail or some shit, or tried to anyway. Just going around trying to get a show, trying to get booked with his dummy. He'd probably be like some kind of Dane Cook. Is that guy's name, the one with the puppet? I don't know. Something of that nature, you know. He would go out there, and he's even mentioned that he wants to practice doing ventriloquism for life. He literally said, like, well, I gotta practice today, you know, with my puppet. And the guys were like, what are you talking about? He's like, I have to practice for life.
So let's get serious. That is not going to impress the women. Trust me.
Okay. And you know what will, don't you?
As a matter of fact, I do. I've discovered something that will change our lives. It'll bring us power, respect, and money. And it's right here in the suitcase.
What is it?
You sure you want to know?
Yeah, just open it up.
Think you can handle it?
Yeah, open it.
Gentlemen, say hello to Morty.
Hi, dummies.
So it's something that I could see him exploring and developing even further into his life. I could see him getting distant from his father. He'd probably get closer to his mother, and he'd have a pretty good relationship, you know, maintain a really good relationship with Barry. But I don't see him getting closer to his father, at least not for a long time. I think that would be frayed, and he would be really frustrated with him. I could even see him trying to, like, break off, like, some kind of financial connection with his father. I don't think he would depend on him too much. You know, he would just try to get his thing, like his own thing. I could see him going through like an evolution of his ego or something, you know. Maybe he won't be as like, you know, he won't be as snarky. I think he's gonna try to break away from his family, like at least from his dad. It's just not gonna be the same after that. I've eventually gotten over his crush on Lindsay. I would like to think that he'd find someone new. He would probably try to pursue Maureen or Vicky, because I feel like he's just kind of the guy. He would try a couple of times with them, then eventually find someone new. I would like to see Neal find a girl. I think it would be cool if he did, or find anyone in general, you know, because I feel like the show just never let him have like any kind of romantic endeavor. They just didn't let him. Like the writers were like, not you, bro. Anyone but you. So it'd be kind of cool to see him just, you know, have that. And it'd be interesting to see what kind of person he would be in a relationship. Maybe he wouldn't be as romantic as he thought he was or something. You might find him annoying. You might find him charming. Either way, Neal, he's the GOAT, y'all. He is the GOAT, y'all. He is the GOAT. If you made it this far, bro, you're the realist. Thank you for watching. For real, I really appreciate it. Give me a like, comment. I want to know what you're thinking about this. I want to know your opinions. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm gonna do more of this shit because I fucking love this show. It is one of my favorite shows of all time, and I just want to talk about it. I just want to talk about it, bro. All right, well, it's been real. Have a good night, and make sure you call your dog. Bye.